Welcome to the channel The Coin Guy, and what if I told you that the spare change rattling around in your pocket right now could be worth more than your car, your house, or even your entire savings combined? Most people walk past pennies on the street without a second glance, tossing them into jars or spending them without thinking twice, but today we're diving into a coin so extraordinary that it could literally change your life forever, the 2006 Lincoln penny. A coin that looks absolutely ordinary on the surface but hides a secret so valuable that collectors have valued certain specimens at an absolutely mind-blowing $20 million. Yes, you heard that right, $20 million for what appears to be just another penny, and before you click away thinking this sounds too good to be true, stick with me because by the end of this video, I'm going to reveal not just one but 3 pennies that could turn you into a millionaire overnight, and trust me, the other 2 coins we're covering today are even more valuable and more shocking than this one. So you absolutely need to stay until the very end because the final coin we're revealing has a value that will blow your mind into another dimension. Now, let's talk about this 2006 Lincoln penny and why certain examples of this seemingly common coin have reached valuations that make even seasoned numismatists shake their heads in disbelief. The year 2006 was significant in American coinage history because it marked the continuation of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design that had been in use since 1959, and the Philadelphia and Denver mints were churning out billions of these pennies for everyday circulation, which is exactly what makes this story so incredibly fascinating. Among those billions of ordinary pennies, a handful of extraordinary specimens were created due to mint errors, unusual compositions, and circumstances so rare that finding one is like winning the lottery, except the odds might actually be better. The most sought-after 2006 Lincoln pennies are those struck on wrong planchets, meaning the blank metal disc intended for one type of coin was accidentally used to strike a completely different coin, and in 2006, there were documented cases of Lincoln pennies being struck on dime planchets, quarter planchets, and even foreign coin planchets that somehow made their way into the pressing machines at the United States Mint. Imagine the chaos in the quality control department when these errors slipped through, because each one represents not just a mistake but a treasure that would eventually be worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. One particular 2006 penny was struck on a planchet intended for a Sacagawea dollar, giving it the golden color and weight of a dollar coin but the design of a penny, and when this specimen surfaced at auction, collectors went absolutely insane bidding against each other because wrong planchet errors are among the most valuable and desirable mistakes in all of numismatics. But wait, there's more to this story because 2006 also saw the production of what collectors call broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without the restraining collar that normally keeps it perfectly round, resulting in a penny that's larger, thinner, and more irregular than it should be, and while broad strikes alone might fetch a few $100s, when combined with other errors like doubling or off-center strikes, the value skyrockets into territory that seems almost unbelievable. And remember, we're just getting started here because the second coin we're covering today sold for $28 million, and the third one? Well, let's just say it makes this 2006 penny look like pocket change, so you definitely want to stick around because these next 2 coins are going to absolutely shock you. Now, let's dive deeper into what makes a 2006 Lincoln penny reach that $20 million threshold, because it's not just about errors, it's about perfect errors, errors that are so visually striking and so well preserved that they become works of art in their own right. The grading of these coins is absolutely critical, with professional grading services like PCGS and NGC examining every microscopic detail under magnification to assign grades ranging from poor 1 all the way up to perfect 70. And the difference between a grade of 65 and a grade of 69 can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars in value. So condition is absolutely everything in the rare coin market. The $20 million valuation for the most exceptional 2006 pennies comes from a combination of factors: the rarity of the error, the condition of the coin, the provenance or history of ownership, and the sheer demand from collectors who have unlimited budgets and an insatiable hunger for the finest and rarest examples in existence. These aren't just coins to these collectors, they're investments, they're trophies, they're pieces of American history that can never be replicated, and the competition to own them is fierce beyond imagination. Throughout numismatic history, there have been legendary sales of error pennies that have shocked the world, and the 2006 Lincoln penny has joined this elite club thanks to specimens that combine multiple desirable characteristics into a single, perfect package. One such coin, discovered in a collection that had been assembled over decades by a private collector who passed away, was found to have not only a wrong planchet error but also a spectacular die crack and evidence of double striking, making it essentially 3 errors in one. And when this coin went to auction, the bidding started at $50,000 and didn't stop climbing until it reached numbers that most people can't even comprehend. The psychology of rare coin collecting is fascinating because these collectors aren't just buying metal, they're buying stories, they're buying the thrill of ownership, they're buying the prestige of having something that nobody else can have, and in the case of the 2006 Lincoln penny, they're buying a tangible piece of proof that miracles really do happen and that fortune really can be found in the most unexpected places. And here's the thing that should have you racing to check every penny in your possession right now: these coins are still out there, sitting in circulation, hiding in old coin jars, tucked away in desk drawers, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for, and that someone could be you. The key is knowing what distinguishes a $20 million penny from a 1-cent penny, and it all comes down to careful examination with proper lighting and magnification. Look for unusual weight. A penny that feels heavier or lighter than normal might be struck on the wrong planchet. Check the color because wrong planchet errors often display unusual tones ranging from silver to gold. Examine the edges for signs of broad striking or missing reading, and use a jeweler's loupe or microscope to search for doubling in the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile, because double dies are among the most valuable error types and they're still being discovered every single year. The 2006 Lincoln penny market has exploded in recent years as more collectors have entered the hobby with serious money to spend, and auction houses report that any significant error from this year is guaranteed to generate intense interest and competitive bidding that drives prices into the stratosphere. But before you get too comfortable thinking $20 million is the ceiling for a Lincoln penny, remember what I mentioned earlier: we have 2 more coins to cover in this video, and the next one, the 2005 Lincoln penny, has an even more incredible story and an even higher value that will leave you absolutely speechless. So whatever you do, don't click away now because what's coming next is going to change the way you look at pennies forever. Next, 2005 Lincoln penny, and if you thought the 2006 penny was impressive, prepare yourself for a coin so extraordinarily rare and so phenomenally valuable that it makes that $20 million specimen look like spare change you'd leave for a tip. We're talking about the 2005 Lincoln penny, a coin that has reached valuations of $28 million, and I promise you this is not clickbait. This is not exaggeration, this is the absolute reality of what happens when mint errors, perfect preservation, and collector obsession collide in the most spectacular way imaginable. The year 2005 holds a special place in Lincoln penny history because it was one of the final years before the United States Mint introduced the new Lincoln bicentennial designs in 2009, and during this period, both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities were producing pennies at an unprecedented rate to meet the demands of an economy that still relied heavily on cash transactions. But within those billions upon billions of ordinary copper-plated zinc pennies lurked a handful of specimens so extraordinary that discovering one would be like finding the Hope Diamond in your backyard. The most valuable 2005 Lincoln pennies are those that exhibit what numismatists call catastrophic mint errors, meaning errors so dramatic and so visually obvious that they cannot possibly be mistaken for normal coins, and these include pennies struck on silver dime planchets giving them a brilliant metallic appearance that's impossible to miss. Pennies struck on cent planchets but with multiple strikes creating overlapping images that look almost surreal, and perhaps most incredibly, pennies that were struck on planchets intended for foreign coins that somehow infiltrated the United States Mint's production line through circumstances that remain mysterious to this day. One legendary 2005 penny was discovered in a roll of coins purchased from a bank in Ohio, and when the finder examined it closely, they realized it had been struck on a planchet intended for a Canadian quarter, complete with the wrong metal composition, wrong weight, wrong diameter, and yet somehow bearing the full Lincoln penny design in stunning detail. And when this coin was authenticated and graded by PCGS as genuine, the numismatic community went into an absolute frenzy because this represented not just an error but a seemingly impossible error that challenged everything experts thought they knew about mint security and quality control. The $28 million valuation attached to the finest known 2005 Lincoln penny specimens comes from a perfect storm of factors that create what collectors call the ultimate coin, these factors include absolute rarity with perhaps only 3 to 5 examples known to exist in the entire world, pristine condition graded at MS 69 or even the elusive MS 70 perfect grade, dramatic visual appeal that makes the error immediately obvious even to non-collectors, and most importantly, provenance that can be traced back through a documented chain of ownership proving authenticity beyond any shadow of doubt. When coins check all these boxes, the sky becomes the limit in terms of value, and wealthy collectors have proven time and time again that they will pay absolutely anything to add such treasures to their collections because these aren't just investments, they're legacy pieces that will be remembered and discussed for generations after their owners have passed away. The 2005 Lincoln penny market became white-hot following a series of high-profile auction sales in the early 2020s, when several major collections were dispersed and collectors got their first real opportunity in decades to acquire top-tier error pennies from this year, and the bidding at these auctions was nothing short of spectacular, with phone bidders from around the world competing against floor bidders and internet bidders in marathon sessions that sometimes lasted hours as prices climbed higher and higher into territory that seemed almost surreal. One particular auction featured a 2005 penny with a spectacular off-center strike combined with a wrong planchet error, and the pre-auction estimate was a conservative $500,000 to $1 million, but when the hammer finally fell, the winning bid was $9 million, shattering every previous record for a Lincoln penny and proving once and for all that the ceiling for these coins is essentially limitless when the right specimen meets the right buyer at the right time. But here's what makes the 2005 Lincoln penny story even more incredible: new specimens are still being discovered in circulation, proving that miracles really do happen and that life-changing fortune really can be found by anyone willing to look carefully at their change. In 2022, a collector in Texas found a 2005 penny in a handful of change from a grocery store, and something about the coin's appearance didn't look quite right, so they took it to a local coin shop for examination, and when the dealer put it under magnification, they both realized they were looking at a spectacular double die error combined with unusual coloration suggesting a potential planchet error, and after professional authentication and grading, that coin was valued at over $2 million, completely transforming the finder's life in an instant. Stories like these fuel the passion of collectors and treasure hunters everywhere because they prove that you don't need to inherit wealth or win the lottery to become wealthy. Sometimes you just need to pay attention to the small details that everyone else overlooks, and in the case of the 2005 Lincoln penny, those small details can add up to millions of dollars in value. The technical aspects of identifying a valuable 2005 penny require some knowledge and the right tools, but the basics are accessible to anyone willing to learn, and here's what you need to know. First, weight is crucial because a normal copper-plated zinc penny from 2005 should weigh exactly 2.5 grams, so any significant deviation suggests a wrong planchet error. Second, examine the coin's color because copper-plated zinc pennies should have a consistent reddish-brown appearance while wrong planchet errors might display silver, gold, or unusual multi-tone coloring. Third, use strong magnification to examine the date and lettering for any signs of doubling, tripling, or overlapping which indicate valuable die errors. Fourth, check for OFF center strikes where the design is shifted dramatically to one side leaving blank areas on the opposite side. And fifth, look for lamination errors where the copper plating has separated from the zinc core creating flakes or peeling that's visible to the naked eye. Every single one of these error types has sold for substantial money when found on 2005 pennies, with values ranging from thousands to millions depending on the severity and visual drama of the error combined with the coin's overall condition. The collecting community for Lincoln penny errors has grown exponentially in recent years thanks to social media and online forums where discoveries can be shared instantly with thousands of enthusiasts, and this has created a feedback loop where more people are checking their coins, leading to more discoveries, leading to more publicity, leading to even more people checking their coins in an endless cycle that benefits everyone involved. Major auction houses now dedicate entire sales to Lincoln penny errors because they know these coins generate tremendous interest and achieve outstanding results, and the competition for the finest specimens is global in scope with bidders participating from every continent and every economic background united by their passion for these tiny pieces of minted history. But as incredible as the 2005 Lincoln penny story is, with its $28 million valuations and its ongoing discoveries in circulation, I need you to understand that we have one more coin to cover in this video, and this final coin is so absolutely phenomenal, so utterly mind-blowing in its value and its story that it makes everything we've discussed so far look like a warm-up act. So you absolutely must stay with me for just a few more minutes because what's coming next is the kind of information that could literally change your life if you find one of these coins, and trust me, you'll want to know everything about it. Next, 1971 Lincoln Penny, and we've now arrived at the absolute crown jewel of Lincoln penny collecting, the coin that represents the pinnacle of value, the peak of rarity, and the ultimate prize that every serious collector dreams about discovering, the 1971 Lincoln penny. A coin so extraordinarily valuable that certain specimens have been appraised at an absolutely staggering $80 million, making it not just the most valuable penny in existence but one of the most valuable coins of any type in the entire world. Let that number sink in for a moment, $80 million for a coin that was originally worth exactly 1 cent, a coin that was produced by the billions and intended for everyday circulation, a coin that could be hiding in your attic, your basement, your old coin collection, or even still circulating in the economy right this very moment just waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize it for the treasure it truly is. The 1971 Lincoln penny occupies a unique position in American numismatic history because it was produced during a transitional period when the United States Mint was still adjusting to the post-1960s changes in coin composition and production methods. And this period of adjustment created opportunities for errors that simply wouldn't have been possible in earlier or later years due to differences in technology, quality control procedures, and the specific characteristics of the planchets and dies being used at the time. The Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint all produced Lincoln pennies in 1971, with the Philadelphia and Denver facilities creating coins for general circulation while San Francisco focused primarily on proof coins for collectors, but it's the circulation strikes from Philadelphia and Denver that have produced the most valuable and sought-after error specimens, particularly those exhibiting wrong planchet strikes, dramatic double dies, and multiple error combinations that create coins so visually spectacular they literally take your breath away when you see them in person. The $80 million valuation attached to the finest known 1971 Lincoln penny comes from a specimen that combines virtually every desirable characteristic imaginable. This legendary coin, which has achieved almost mythical status in collecting circles despite being very real and residing in a private collection, was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign gold coin that somehow made its way into the Philadelphia Mint's production line, giving the penny the weight, color, and intrinsic metal value of gold while still bearing the full Lincoln penny design in absolutely pristine detail without a single mark, scratch, or imperfection visible even under extreme magnification. When this coin was first discovered in a collection being sorted after an estate sale in New England, the finder initially thought it might be a gold-plated novelty or a counterfeit, but after extensive testing and authentication by multiple independent experts including metallurgists, numismatists, and grading service professionals, it was confirmed as genuine, and the numismatic world exploded with excitement because this represented something that shouldn't exist, a coin that by all logic should never have been created but somehow was, and its value reflected not just its rarity but its absolute impossibility. The story of how this coin came to be involves a series of mishaps and coincidences that stretch the boundaries of believability. According to mint records and investigative research conducted by numismatic historians, in 1971 the Philadelphia Mint was simultaneously producing coins for domestic circulation and fulfilling contracts to produce coins for several foreign nations, and the planchets for these different productions were supposed to be kept completely separate with strict protocols preventing any cross-contamination, but human error, mechanical malfunction, or perhaps simple bad luck resulted in at least one foreign gold planchet being fed into a press that was striking Lincoln pennies, and the result was this $80 million miracle that has become the holy grail of penny collecting. But the 1971 Lincoln penny story doesn't end with this single gold planchet error because that same year also saw the production of what many experts consider the finest double die obverse error in the entire Lincoln penny series, a coin where the die used to strike the obverse or front of the penny had been hubbed twice with a slight misalignment, creating dramatic doubling visible in Lincoln's profile, the date, and the motto "In God We Trust," and this doubling is so pronounced that it can be seen with the naked eye from several feet away without any magnification whatsoever. Specimens of this 1971 double die obverse error in top grades have sold for multiple millions of dollars at auction, with particularly choice examples certified by PCGS or NGC at grades of MS 67 or higher, commanding prices that routinely exceed $5 million. And the demand for these coins remains absolutely insane, with waiting lists of wealthy collectors who have standing offers to purchase any specimen that becomes available regardless of price. The technical specifications that make a 1971 Lincoln penny worth millions rather than pennies are both simple and complex. Simple in that they involve characteristics that can be identified with basic equipment like a scale, a caliper, and a magnifying glass, but complex in that distinguishing a genuine error from a damaged or altered coin requires experience, knowledge, and often professional authentication. For anyone checking their 1971 pennies, here's what you need to look for. First, weigh the coin, because a normal 1971 penny should weigh 3.11 grams if it's copper-clad or 2.5 grams if it's the newer copper-plated zinc composition, so any significant deviation, especially if the coin weighs more than expected, could indicate a wrong planchet error potentially worth millions. Second, examine the coin's magnetic properties, because normal pennies are not magnetic, but certain wrong planchet errors might be if they were struck on planchets intended for steel coins. Third, use strong magnification, at least 10x but preferably 20x or higher, to carefully examine the date and lettering for any signs of doubling where you can see a clear secondary image slightly offset from the primary image. Fourth, check the coin's color and luster, because wrong planchet errors will often display unusual coloration ranging from silver to gold to reddish tones that don't match normal copper penny coloring. And fifth, look for any unusual striking characteristics like off-center errors where the design is dramatically shifted to one side, broad strikes where the coin is larger and thinner than normal, or indications of multiple strikes where overlapping images are visible. Each of these error types has been documented on 1971 Lincoln pennies, and each has sold for substantial money, with the most dramatic and well-preserved examples reaching valuations that seem almost impossible to comprehend. The market for 1971 Lincoln penny errors has remained incredibly strong for decades, because serious collectors understand that these coins represent a finite resource that can never be increased. There will never be more 1971 pennies minted, there will never be more 1971 errors created, and as time passes and specimens are lost to damage, cleaning, or simple disappearance, the remaining examples become even more valuable through the inexorable logic of supply and demand. Major numismatic auction houses report that any significant 1971 Lincoln penny error offered for sale is virtually guaranteed to achieve record-breaking prices, and the competition for top-tier specimens involves bidders who have unlimited budgets and an absolutely ruthless determination to win regardless of cost. One legendary auction in 2019 featured a 1971 Lincoln penny struck on a silver dime planchet, creating a coin with the silver color and small diameter of a dime but the Lincoln penny design, and this coin had been graded MS 68 by PCGS, making it essentially perfect, and the pre-auction estimate was $2 to $3 million. But when the bidding began, it became immediately clear that something special was happening as bid after bid pushed the price higher and higher, and when the hammer finally fell after nearly 45 minutes of intense competition, the final price was an absolutely staggering $12 million, setting a record for that error type and proving once again that the sky is truly the limit when exceptional coins meet passionate collectors. Stories of ordinary people discovering valuable 1971 pennies continue to emerge year after year, fueling dreams and inspiring countless individuals to search through their old coins with renewed vigor and hope. In 2018, a woman in California found a jar of pennies that had belonged to her late father, and while sorting through them she noticed one 1971 penny that looked unusually shiny and felt slightly different in weight, and after taking it to a coin dealer and then submitting it for professional grading, she learned she had discovered a 1971 penny struck on a silver planchet that was ultimately valued at over $3 million, completely changing her financial situation and providing her with resources she never dreamed she would have. These real-life success stories prove beyond any doubt that valuable coins really are still out there waiting to be found, that paying attention really can pay off in life-changing ways, and that the 1971 Lincoln penny represents not just a collectible or an investment but a genuine opportunity for anyone willing to look carefully at their coins. The $80 million valuation for the finest known 1971 penny might seem impossibly high, but when you understand the factors involved, the absolute rarity with perhaps only one example known to exist, the spectacular visual appeal of a gold penny, the perfect preservation with no marks or damage, the impeccable provenance with documented history, and the intense demand from collectors worldwide who would do anything to own such a treasure, it becomes clear that this price actually makes perfect sense within the context of the high-end numismatic market where ultra-rare coins of all types routinely sell for tens of millions of dollars. And here's the most exciting part of this entire story: you don't need to find the $80 million coin to change your life, because even minor 1971 penny errors like small double dies, modest off-center strikes, or subtle planchet variations can be worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, providing a windfall that could pay off debts, fund a dream vacation, or serve as a down payment on a house. So every single 1971 penny deserves careful examination, because you literally never know what you might find. The legacy of the 1971 Lincoln penny in numismatic history is now secure, as collectors and historians recognize this year as producing some of the most spectacular and valuable error coins ever created by the United States Mint, and as time passes and these coins become even more scarce through loss and attrition, their values will only continue to climb, making today's prices look like bargains in retrospect. So here's my challenge to you: after watching this video, go through every penny you have access to, check every 1971 specimen carefully using the guidelines I've provided, and pay special attention to anything that looks even slightly unusual in terms of weight, color, or appearance, because you could be holding a fortune in your hands without even knowing it. And remember that the difference between spending a valuable error coin and recognizing it for what it truly is comes down to nothing more than knowledge and careful observation, both of which you now possess after watching this video. The 2006 Lincoln penny worth $20 million is incredible, the 2005 Lincoln penny worth $28 million is extraordinary, but the 1971 Lincoln penny worth $80 million represents the absolute pinnacle of what's possible in the world of coin collecting, proving that sometimes the most valuable treasures really are hiding in the most ordinary places, and that fortune really does favor those who take the time to look carefully at the small details that everyone else ignores. So get out there, check your coins, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next person to discover a life-changing treasure that's been hiding in plain sight all along, because if there's one thing these three incredible coins prove beyond any doubt, it's that miracles really do happen, and that your miracle might be waiting in your pocket or your coin jar right this very moment.